May 4th here in southern Ontario, Canada. This is heavy, really heavy, and I'm going to have to mince a lot of my terms here, forgive me. Mark Rutte, leader of NATO, just declared, and I'm not going to paraphrase him here, that it is inevitable that, here I have to mince words, the smaller of the two countries who've been having a pretty serious conflict over there in Northern Europe will, for a fact, join NATO. Little background here. Mark Rutte was leader of the Netherlands until the Dutch farmers' revolt ran him out. Rutte is a classmate of Justin Trudeau's, that class being the School of Klaus, Young Global Leaders Program 2005. So the Dutch farmers run him out and he lands as head of NATO. So we have a WEF member heading NATO. And again, I stress, he has said that the smaller of those two countries will, it is inevitable, join. I guess I can get away with saying NATO. I said it once already. Anyways, the bear has no choice but then to consider that he's in conflict not just with his next door neighbor, but all of NATO. That's a given. I'm not going to get into past accords and whatnot. Brussels, the EU Commission, supports this, of course. The head of the Brussels EU Commission is Ursula von der Leyen. She sits on the World Economic Forum's Board of Trustees. And the EU wants to spend over $800 billion on hardware, I better say hardware. And if you follow it, take a look at who supports what Mark Rutte and Ursula von der Leyen are saying. The countries that support them all have World Economic Forum leaders. Canada. Well, Carney just announced through Francois Philippe Champagne that we will continue to support it. Well, Carney said it himself as well. Anyways, Canada, the UK, France, Germany, just to name a few, they all support what's going to happen here. And the countries that don't support it in the EU aren't led by World Economic Forum members. Hungary, Italy, the Netherlands. Did I mention Germany supports it? Friedrich Merz, WEF. And in Germany, the AfD party doesn't support it, but they're not in charge. It's pretty clear what the World Economic Forum wants to have happen here. Why? Money, perhaps. We go back to who would build the hardware for that $800 billion and who owns it. Pretty sure. Who owns those manufacturers, that is. I think we'd see some WEF members in there too. Anyways, how does Mark Rutte get booted out of the Netherlands and land as head of NATO? Now, question is, where will the U.S. go on this? J.D. Vance just made an address at the UN. I should bring up and play that address where he firmly stated, in essence, that they're not playing the WEF agenda game. Trump has said the same thing at the UN and the World Economic Forum over the years. So, what's the States going to do with this? Because they're the biggest player in NATO, of course. Trump apparently is negotiating for peace, while everyone else in NATO, well, except for the aforementioned right-wing led governments, support well, I better say the escalation, continuance and escalation. Wow. And in summation, don't forget the UN is led by Antonio Guterres, the lifelong WEP member. He sat on the the foundation board with Mark Carney for a decade. Carney sits on both the Board of Trustees and the Foundation Board at the World Economic Forum, and again, supports, well, I better just say Mark Rutte. Pretty messed up, but the bear is backed into a corner and has only one response. And don't think NATO and the WEF doesn't know it. How can they not? Despite what Western media presents to us, that's what's going down.